Welcome back to Going Beyond. Today's guest is a very versatile personality. Leslie Carvalho has joined us from Bangalore. He's visiting us for this interview. He's an amazing person. He's an author, he's a filmmaker, he's an artist, he's a German teacher, he's a tennis pro. What more is there to say about my guest today? Leslie, thank you so much for coming here. Now, you've written your first book.
Yes.
Right? So whatever got you there now, how did you, because you're well known as your films.
Right.
So tell me.
See, all of us try to make sense of what has happened in our lives or anything that has happened. We try to figure out, So this is something that happened in my past. Also things that happened to people around me. And also as an artist, as a filmmaker and as a writer, you try to combine all the elements and try to present it in a way that I think people will be able to, digest it or get themselves engaged in it. That was the whole purpose.
Right. So from reading the book, I
Yeah.
could see that it's very much about your hometown, about your environment, about what it was like to live in Mangalore.
Yeah.
And so it was a very good thumbnail sketch, as it were,
Right.
of the community and where you're coming from.
Yeah.
So am I getting it right that there are all shades of your own life in there?
Yes, definitely to a large extent. But also, as I said earlier, we all witness things that happen to people around us. And so I wanted to showcase a slice of Mangalore, the kind of joy we had while growing up, visiting grandmother's place and relatives. And the whole scenario was so interesting. And I said, why not write about it and our experiences of growing up? And also the character in my film, in my novel, it's all about her and it's about her life and how she progresses. It starts off as a coming of age story, but then it's also about visiting different places, different lands, and how you're able to kind of make sense of a new language, a new ethos, a new culture. And finally, trying to come back to your own place and see if, you can make sense of it all.
Right. So how has the book been received so far? You've released it, I know, in Bangalore.
Yeah.
Yes?
We had a release in Bangalore. We should be having a release in Chennai. It's doing fairly well, I should say, surprisingly, because these kinds of
Why do you
novels...
say surprisingly?
Because, it's not a big launch we had. We had a small launch. But by word of mouth, people have begun to read and like it. And so let's see where it goes, keeping our fingers crossed. And we are taking one city at a time.
Right. Now, Les, you're such a versatile person. Like I was saying in my introduction, you just do so many things. I was just wondering, there are so many facets to you.
Yeah.
Is there anyone that you like in particular?
I like all of the things that I'm doing. I believe we live once, and so we can do the best we can. And I think life has so much to offer. You can't compartmentalize yourself. I think, if you're interested in this, and then as the flow goes, I just go with it. I try out different things, and I've enjoyed teaching tennis, painting, or teaching German, or making films, or writing a book. So I think why not, just enjoy doing what you're doing.
So then why not and when will that second book be out?
I would love to, because there's so much in store and which I need to get out. So we'll see how it goes. I'm looking at translating it into different languages.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, because it's a coastal story. It can resonate anywhere from Tamil Nadu to Andhra to Mangalore. And also because it's set in Germany, a large portion of it, we are hoping to get it translated in German for the German-speaking people of Austria, Switzerland, and Italy.
So you obviously lived in Germany, you studied there a bit, and then you've got this whole, there's kind of a world view in the book. because you get a kind of feeling of actually what it's like for
Yeah.
somebody from India, a young woman, to go there, to live there, to, assimilate herself into
Right.
that environment. So that was a very interesting facet about the book, really.
Yeah, it was interesting because, see, you come from a small town, a small village, and then you go to this big city where everything is new. Like I said, the language, the culture, the ethos, and you're trying to make sense of it all. And how far you're able to make sense of it. But it was very interesting because I was there with 80 other exchange students, and each one had different experiences. So it was very interesting to get a feedback or to look at their experiences and try to make sense of it all to put this novel together.
Right. The next novel, will it be in the same strain? Are you thinking
The
at all
same
about it?
genre, I don't know. I don't think so. But let's see. There are so many little short stories I'd like to compile and put it together in a book, in a novel. So I'm
That's
looking.
always quite interesting for a
Yeah.
reader, I feel, that when you have short stories,
Stories, yeah.
you can read one every night and,
Right.
kind
Yeah,
of.
I would think so too, because there are many short stories I want to put together, and hopefully I can put all of these short stories into a book, a novel form. Yeah.
Right. I know you helped your brother on 3 other books.
Yes.
So I'm just wondering, when you say helped, what do you mean by that?
I've written a couple of articles
Okay.
in the book, little bit of refining, editing, and polishing the
Okay.
work, and looking at different aspects, contacting writers, telling them what they can write about, and basically trying to get it all out.
Right. Okay. Let me switch here to the movie making part of your character,
Yes.
and ask you about that. How is that going? Anything else on the cards? What are you up to?
Yeah, after the outhouse, it's been a very long break. It's
1997. Or
yeah, 1996. I
96,
shot the
okay.
film, so it's going to be 30 years.
Long
A
time.
long time. I made another short digital film for Shekhar Kapoor called A Woman Too Many. But now I'm ready to make a film. I plan to shoot it here in Chennai. I want to make it in Tamil. It's about a Radiwala and his life, his 3 daughters.
Your own story?
Not my own story. It's a story where, I've heard from a very close friend of mine. So he has his 3 daughters. His wife isn't there. His eldest daughter he wants to get his eldest daughter married, but she's in the final year of college. And
True story.
True story.
Okay.
How he's going about it and how this conflict of interest is between the two of them, the father and the daughter. And again, trying to make sense of their life.
Right. When do you propose to do that, Les?
It's in the cards. I'm working on it already. And hopefully in the next 6 months, I should be able to progress at least some parts of
Right.
it. Yeah.
With all these different things, I'm just wondering, do you actually physically try to do it all at the same time? Do you manage it? How do you manage it?
I know,
can't.
yeah. People ask me that.
Yes.
But, I think I'm serious about the things that I enjoy doing. So I make sure that I'm physically active and I'm in good health, which goes a long way in helping me do all of these things that I want to do.
Right. Right back where I started,
Yeah.
which is the part of you that you like best doing? You can't, don't tell
I
me it's all the
know
same.
It's
No.
not all the same.
It cannot
See,
be.
I've always been a sportsman from the very beginning. So playing different games, athletics. So I like the tennis teaching bit a lot. It's
Really?
40 years since I've been teaching tennis from the time I went to Germany.
Amazing.
And I'm still continuing that. See, for people like me who can't afford doctors, the best thing is to keep yourself physically fit. So
The doctors won't like to hear
yeah,
that.
I know doctors won't like to hear that. But I think, keeping yourself physically fit, it's a big bonus. It takes you a long way. You can do so many things.
Right.
Yeah.
You're such an active person. So I'm just thinking that when you look to the future, as it were, So do you see more films, more books, more, I don't know what else? You'll probably come up with something new.
Yeah. I mean, I would like to continue all of these things that I'm doing because I enjoy doing all of these things, but also I'm open to anything, I'd like to, learn something new each day
Such
and
as what?
say, going on a trek and seeing the different things that happen or another language. I know a little bit of Spanish. I want to, learn more of that. And anything, that I'm interested in, if I can afford some time to learn it and study, nothing like that.
You're an amazing person. You make me feel
I
guilty.
no. I don't know about that, but it's just that life has so much to offer, so we might as well make the best of it.
Right. Oh, when you look back, uh, do you think that you have done justice to your talent, to your many talents?
Yes and no, because I took a long break from my first film, and then to stay in touch with film, I was always on the juries, so to see what was happening on the Indian scene and the international scene. But now, since the children are grown up and I'm free relatively, so I'd like to give myself more time
Right.
and not worry about, anything else. This time is for me now. So
Right.
I'll make the most of it.
Right.
Yeah.
So have you encouraged your children to go into the same areas
Yes.
of activity?
With my wife and I, we've just allowed them the freedom to do what they want. But my daughter is following in my footsteps. She's doing her master's in psychology, but she's also an actress. She's acted in a Telugu film in a small role, and she's in theater in Bangalore.
Okay.
She put up the recent, and then there were none, the Agatha Christie play. She had a role in it. She played. And then when she was in college, she was in the Billy Elliot play. So she's following in my footsteps, more or less. My son is more into business. He's an engineer. He's a communication director for the company he works for. So he's 6'4". You don't know. Good looking. Maybe he might get into
Acting.
acting or films. I don't know.
Right.
It's after.
Bangalore, by and large,
Yeah.
is a very arty kind of city, isn't it?
It is,
Do you
it is.
actually find that? Do you find that?
No, Bangalore has so much to offer. It has different arts that are thriving, from music to films and advertising and writing and books. So it's a culturally vibrant city.
Indeed.
And many people love to come to Bangalore to showcase their work. And so Bangalore is always encouraging,
Accepting, as it were.
accepting of people from different parts of our country. There are many expats, there are many foreigners living in Bangalore. There are more people in Bangalore who speak Tamil than Kannadigas.
Right, is
So it's a melting pot. It's a cosmopolitan city, and we've always loved people from everywhere. So,
That's a nice thing to say, really, because
we are accepting of everybody. That's why people are so happy to be in Bangalore. They love the vibrancy, the culture, the openness. So please welcome. Bangalore welcomes everybody.
okay. Have you ever dabbled in the theater as such?
Theater, yes, in school and in college, we've done a little bit of theater, but not like full-time theater. I would like to, at some point in time, write a play. We are always doing plays about others who've written for us. But I think there's so much of material here. And I think, I'd like to write a play on Bangalore or our country and our culture and our people. I think that would be very interesting.
Now, when your outhouse has gone to different, festivals around the world, how well has it been received? Do people understand what you're trying to say there?
Yes, surprisingly, it's a small story about a woman who wants to gain financial independence, and despite the odds, she's able to achieve that with help from her sister, who's a financially independent person, and very kind-hearted Bengali landlady. So people, I think, see, film is universal. It can be in a small town, a small village. It will resonate as long as it is universal. So it's been accepted well all over the world. Surprisingly, more people have seen it everywhere else around the world at festivals and small little places than people have seen it here.
Right.
So,
But that's got something to do with distribution then, isn't it? I
yes,
mean, what is
distribution.
is there a problem?
There is a problem. See, it's always, if it's a big name star cast, yes. If it's a big person, yes, they will accept the film. But small films, which are independent films, will always struggle. But I think slowly now there are OTT platforms where people are interested in seeing these kinds of films. So, which is a good thing. I'm not against commercial films at all. It's good that we see all kinds of films. But there is scope for small independent films, which I'm happy about. And as long as we are able to vent our feelings and, our talent comes out from making these things, it's a good thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we have a lot of film talent in
Yeah.
India for
Oh, yeah.
filmmakers, but
Plenty.
for independent
Yeah.
producers and independent filmmakers, how do they cope with the financial
Oh,
strain? And that
it
bothers
is
me.
it is a big strain. While even commercial films, a
Are
very
strain enough?
small percentage make it.
Yes,
So you can
exactly.
never predict a film. But for independent films, it's been a struggle throughout. It's been a struggle throughout. And I think this is where the government has to come in. They have to help. They have to subsidize. Of course, they do subsidize, but they have to have places where they will be able to showcase these kinds of films. But see, for example, Payal Kapadia, who made this film at Cannes, she won the best film. Because it won the best film there, the Palme d'Or, she's able to distribute it all over the world. So the hope is that you make a good film and the film is seen abroad at one of the big festivals. And if it wins, then it's on its own,
Right. Do you think that our Indian film industry is on the up and up? Is it doing well enough to establish itself as an important country for making films?
Yeah, we are the biggest producers of film.
Indeed, but
Yes, exactly. It depends on the quality of our films. See, we make films for different reasons. Say, for example, for many people, they want to go and enjoy a film. They have enough. They're dealing with every day in their day-to-day struggles and worries, and so for them, going to see a film is an escapist route. Just go and enjoy yourself. They don't want to be burdened by all of these things. But there's the other side of the film where people also want to see reality. They want to kind of immerse themselves to see the thing that. So there is a good mix. So hopefully, there will be a time when people will also encourage and see films that are good, I would say, which has a bearing on their life and which will see, film doesn't necessarily change life, but it can change the way we look at life. So films can do that. And a good film will stay with you for the rest of your life. So that's a good thing about film.
correct. What about the internet now? Don't you think that that's a very big competition for the film
Yeah.
industry?
Oh, it is. It is a big competition. Everything is out there on the internet. So more and more people are staying at home and watching on their mobile. So
Exactly.
where is the point of going into a theater? But the beauty still is to see films on the big screen, but it's vanishing. You see, it's all multiplexes now. Everything is gone, and they are having everything is at home. People are sitting and watching
So
stuff at
why
home.
not you do a film that's only for
I would
airing in,
love to.
that's airing for the internet?
Yeah,
Wouldn't that be a good way to go?
it is. It is. That's a good option because see, you have to move with the trend. You have
Yes.
to move with the realities of life. So I think all of us, at some point in time, will have to get to doing films where it's convenient for people to watch, and it's also a way of income.
What about teaching languages now? You did say that you're
Yeah.
doing German, and you think that's another avenue that you would like to really pursue full time,
Yeah, I
or
would like to. I would like to because language is such an interesting part of our lives. I think all of us born and raised in India, we are so used to learning different languages. We have our mother tongue, then our neighbors speak a different language, and then our school, we have to learn a different language. I think we're so adaptable. We can just pick up languages like this. I know so many of my friends in the US and the UK, they speak so many languages.
Right.
So when I went to Germany, I picked up the language. And then when I was in New York, I picked up some Spanish. So it's interesting. And I think some people have a flair for languages. I'm not saying that I have, but many of
You
us
obviously
do.
do. You obviously
Yeah.
do. Now, you were also at the New York Film Academy, I think it is,
Yes,
right?
yeah.
Was that a useful time for you? Did you find that you learned a lot there?
I did, because the curriculum was very different. It's not what it is like here. There's no gap between the teacher and the student. We could meet our teachers anytime in an informal setting. There was no this fear, like, you can just go and meet them. And it was very nice because we were exposed to different kinds of cinema. And somebody like, say, a Martin Scorsese or somebody would come to give you a guest lecture.
It's wonderful to learn.
Yeah,
What a learning curve is that?
exactly. It was so great. And then we had this great teacher who dealt with Al Pacino and others, and
Big names,
big names.
all the big names.
Her name was Marketa Kimbrell. So she came for a class, and she was so just to listen to her, how she dealt with actors and actresses. So I think that input was very good. Also, we had to see a lot of films. So that's the time when I discovered, all the classics, from William Wyler to Billy Wilder to Akira Kurosawa, Satyajit Ray.
Who, in your mind and your opinion, is one of the finest filmmakers of the world?
Oh, God.
Who's your favorite, shall I say?
Oh, my favorite. I like Ray, of course.
Okay.
From Pathar Panchali to all of his
Yes, of
films.
course.
I like Billy Wilder. I like William Wyler. I like John Ford. I like Guru Dutt too. I love all of his films, from Pyasa to Chaudhaveen Ka Chand to Kagas Ke Phool, to Sahib Bibi or Gulam. I liked all of his films. It was at the New York Film Academy that I was exposed to him.
Really?
Yeah. And my teacher said, "Yeah, there's a good filmmaker, Guru Dutt. Have you seen his films?" I wasn't even aware. And then I saw his films, rented it from the video stores, and I really liked it. And they used to show these films on and off on an Indian channel. And so there are upcoming filmmakers, youngsters. Youngsters today have such big, bold, broad, different ideas. So I think it's a big canvas out there, and everybody can fit in. So,
Right. Talking of young filmmakers, do you mentor a lot of them? Do a lot of them come to you for advice?
I do. I take a class at Mount Carmel's
Oh,
college.
that's interesting. Tell me about that.
Yeah, it's I go and lecture to them on film. They watch my film and they talk to me about film, and then we discuss every aspect of film. Before they go into their final shoot, I discuss with them what will work, what will not work. So sometimes they have these big lofty ideas. So I'd say you don't have to spend all that kind of money. You can have the same impact if you do it this way. Look at it from a different angle.
Are they willing to learn?
Yeah, they're willing to learn. Surprisingly, they're willing to learn. Of course, they have their own ideas, these grandiose ideas about making a big, huge film. But I think you have to start with telling a story. Most of them don't, they want, grandeur. But film is what?
Not everybody's a David Lean, let's face it. You're
exactly, yes. You're basically telling a story. So how do you go about telling a story? How do you want your narrative to be? You want it to be linear or you want it to be non-linear? So I caution them. I tell them, see, since you're a student filmmaker, start with the basics, stick to a linear narrative. Later on, if you are comfortable and you're quite thorough and sure, then you go in for a non-linear narrative. But they're willing to learn. They're so talented,
Right. Let's tell me, how is the Film and Television Institute at Pune doing?
I think all of these places are doing well. I was on the academic council at the Satyajit Ray Film and Television Institute
Okay.
in Kolkata. So we would also, a few filmmakers were invited. So before they shot their final film, we would sit down and discuss with the students. They're all doing well. They're doing some good films. They're doing some good work.
They need the encouragement,
Yeah,
is
they
what
need the
you're saying.
encouragement. Definitely they need the encouragement.
Is the encouragement, by encouragement, do you mean money? Do you mean actual encouragement to promote the film, to show the film, to teach them how
all
to?
of these things, they need the money. Yes, they need the basic infrastructure. Also, to promote their films, they have to have different outlets. They have to set up places where they can showcase their films. Of course, there are many student film festivals like Mannheim, Heidelberg, and the New York Film Academy. And
But even to enter a film somewhere like that, you still
need
have,
money.
there's a money,
Yeah,
there's
yeah,
money
you have,
involved.
there's a fee you have
Yes.
to pay. So that is so difficult. First of all, you're struggling to make a film.
Absolutely.
You spent all the money making a film, and then you don't have enough money to promote the film. So I always tell people, making the film is one aspect, but promoting the film is a bigger aspect.
Right. Leslie, when you look back, you didn't have any of these things going for you.
No.
So, but then at the end of the day, would you say that it's all about you having the passion to do what you're doing, and therefore somehow you manage? Is that the way to go forward?
Deep down, if you are really want to do something, and if you have the passion, I like to teach people passion. Yes, make it passionately. But today, passion is not the only thing that works.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't pay the bills.
It doesn't pay the bills, definitely. So you're passionate, and then you have to push yourself. You have to go out there and say, I made this film. Send it to as many places you can. You have to find people, somebody who could back you up. See, during my time, I struggled, yes, but today people can approach people and say, listen, I made this film and I need some backing, I need some help. And if
I would think
somebody's
really it's a question of not being afraid of rebuttal in a way.
definitely,
If you can cope with that, I think you can cope with everything. And you, Leslie Carvalho, have coped with everything. And at the end of this lovely, delightful conversation, I want to thank you for coming here.
pleasure.
And I really want to
Thank
wish you
you
all the
so
very,
much.
very
Thank
best
you so
indeed. Thank you so much
It's
indeed.
been a pleasure talking to you, Jenny.
Thank you so much indeed.
I've been a big fan of yours for so many years.
Thank you, Leslie. Thank you. Well, that's all we have time for today. But don't forget that we'll be back next week with Going Beyond. And so until that time, you take care. Bye for now.